Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Marriage Matters. My name is Glenn Coleman, and this is my beautiful, lovely wife,
Tanya Coleman. Hey, guys.
And like I said earlier, this is Marriage Matters. This is a podcast where we talk about everything relationships. We like to think it's just not. It's mainly marriage relationships, spousal relationships,
right?
But we like to say that these relationships are relationships, right?
Yeah,
it bleeds over into every aspect of our lives. So welcome, as you can see, we're live, and well, we're actually not live, but we're on location. we're not at home right now. So, but we're trying to stay committed in 2021. Commitment and consistency.
Yes.
And by the way, those two things is two very valuable things that you need in any relationship, right?
Absolutely.
Any relationship. I've heard somebody say, how you do. I think somebody was you. How you do anything
is how you do everything.
How you do anything is how you do everything. Yeah. So we want to, just be committed and consistent in 2021. So we said, you know what? We're going to bring some equipment with us, and we're going to shoot this while we're on the road.
Yes.
So anyway.
So here we are.
Yeah. So I always like to check in with you. How are you doing? How's everything going in your world, which is my world?
Things are good. I feel a little tired, I think, from our drive.
Okay.
But other than that.
She slept the whole way here. I don't know why.
I did not sleep the whole way, but I did get a couple nods in. But it's the physical thing of being in the car and being on the road and the up and the down, and you're not comfortable.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. But it was a good trip. I like driving you. So
yeah. I appreciate you too. You do a great job.
Okay, so let's get into today's topic. So I want to talk about it's amazing. We've always been on a journey of growth and just personal development. But I think this year, or these past probably 4 to 5 years, it's kind of, we've taken it up a notch. And I would even say these last 2 years has been even more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the things that I'm discovering, or have discovered in this pursuit, is that who I am today. And like, I knew this, but it's like it really just hit home. But who I am today is a result of the decisions I made, the environments I was exposed to, the words that were spoken over me, the ideals and thought processes that were ingrained in me. Sure. Since I was born, it has led me up to this point. And a lot of what I do, the way I show up in the world, is a result of that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Would you agree?
Absolutely, yeah.
Dr. Coleman, would you agree with that? Is that an accurate assessment?
Not doctor yet.
So, how does that, what I wanted to talk about today is, we have to recognize and realize that when it comes to dealing with each other, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was telling me that his wife is they haven't been married long, and his wife is jealous. She's jealous, and she has a tendency to it's like anytime I got my phone, it's like, what you looking at? Who you talking to? Those type of things. So I asked him. I said, "Well, have you cheated?" And he's like, well, no, I hadn't cheated. I said, so why are you getting upset, when
and she's inquiring?
I don't want to say it. Hopefully you don't misunderstand. You're not the one with the problem. She is. And I don't want to make that sound mean or like she's got a problem.
Right.
What I'm saying is you haven't cheated. All right. Have you given her a reason to suspect you of cheating? No. Okay. So obviously you're not the problem. So my point is, I told him, you have to, I asked him, I said, well, what were her previous relationships like? He said, well, she was cheated on. Well, ding, 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 ding. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, the way we show up in the world has nothing to do with our now. Has everything to do with what happened previously.
Right. So even she's not the problem. It's her previous experiences.
Experiences, right. And that's what I mean. That's why I didn't mean it like she's the problem.
I know. I was just saying but to clarify that when we're looking at things, like it's not necessarily the person who is presenting an issue that is the issue.
Right. You know, it's our experiences.
It's the experiences.
Yeah. And so I told him, I said, so instead of you getting so upset about being accused, I was like, you know, what we have to learn to do in our relationships is understand and I know that's because again, what?
Nothing.
Oh, because again, now I told him, I said, well, one of the things that you're struggling with is that male ego. Right? And you don't like her, quote unquote, getting up all up in your...
I'm uncomfortable. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Hotel furniture, you know. But what was I saying?
One of the things he
do. The male ego.
Yeah.
Right. So I told him, I said, that's why you're upset is because she's challenging you as a man or, you know, your belief system or I said, but what you got to do is you have to first recognize is that the struggles that she's struggling with was from the previous relationship. Right. And that's what I was going to say. Unfortunately, a lot of times the relationships or the marriages that we're in now, our partners suffer from the mistakes of the previous relationship.
Right.
And I know that's not fair and it's not, but I'm speaking to the person on the other side. You know, what do you think would happen if we provided a space for that? And we, you know, say something to the effect of, hey, you know, I understand that you were hurt in the past.
Right.
But I want to reassure you that I love you and I would never do anything to, you know, to jeopardize our relationship. I value our relationship, you know, and so on and so forth. And even, you know, I told him like, you know, give her the passcode to the phone, give her all of the, you know, because I don't have anything to hide anyway. And I want you to be in that. I want you to be part of me. I want you to be part of my life. So I guess what I'm saying is we have to make space for each other's past. You call it, you say it all the time, give each other space and grace. We have to give each other space to say, okay, I know this is not about me.
Right.
I know this frustration is not about, you know, we said all the time when I come home and I'm frustrated and I'm taking it out on you. Well, the tendency is for you to get frustrated back at me because you're like, well, I don't deserve this. I don't, instead of maybe you could say, or we could say something like, did you have a bad day at work?
Looks like
because
you didn't have a great
again,
day
we
today.
get so offended at something that's not even it's not has nothing to do with us.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right. It does. So it's recognizing it. It's that we have to make sure that we're not responding in our emotions when our spouse, significant other, another person comes at us in a way that maybe it's undeserving or, you know, they've had a rough day or they have a rough history. And so they're still processing those things. And one thing I wanted to say, when you were talking about, you know, saying to her, you know, that you understand that, you know, you've had experiences where past individuals have, you know, broken your trust and all of these different things, realizing as men that you're going to have to say that to her more than one time. Yeah. That is not a one-time conversation.
Yeah.
Because women have the tendency, and this is something the Feldahans talked about and for men only, was that, you know, women have the tendency to, it takes a while to get that confidence up that your man, that your husband is in this marriage, in this relationship forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and you know, in the same aspect, contrary to popular belief, men, we don't heal overnight either. You know, so it's the same thing for us. Now, a lot of times I think we tend to overcompensate in the opposite direction. I know, like for me, I remember even as a teenager, you know, which I probably shouldn't have been in a relationship anyway, but I was, you know. But I can remember having my heart broken as a teenager. So what do? It's like no girl will ever do that to me again. You know, so I'm gonna hurt them before they can hurt me. You know, I'm gonna get my player's card, right? So I'm just gonna play the field, and I'm not gonna be in any serious relationship.
That's when you got all your friends.
I didn't. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess, and that's a good point you make, though, is that this is, and you've got to understand this is not an overnight process, guys. And even, you know, we were talking before we started shooting, and I was kind of saying that, you know, this is what we should talk about. And even you said it. You're like, we talked about that before. I was like, yeah, we did, but they probably need to hear it again. Sure. I know I need to hear it again. It's like I was telling you, I forget which church it was that Paul was writing to, but he's like, hey, it's not grievous for me to write to you and remind you of the same things over and over. Right. Because, and I remember one of our couples we were working with, we were doing premarital counseling, and we were just kind of talking about this. And I can't remember how old the husband was at the time, or the fiance was at the time, but she was like, I told her, I said, how long do you, because I was saying that she asked me, she's like, well, how long do I have to wait? And so I said, you know, how long do I have to wait for him to get basically his stuff together? Yeah. Which
for him to change.
He's probably asking the same question about her, you know, but anyway, I told her, I said, how old is he? And I forget, I was just saying he's 20 something. Yeah, let's just say 24. And I said, well, this is 24 years of programming. And she's like, oh my God, do I have to wait 24 years? And I said, no, you probably don't have to wait 24 years. But here's the point. The point is, a person that I consider a mentor, he used to say this all the time. He used to say it about Christianity. He said, Christianity is a journey, not a destination. Yeah, and it's the same thing with growth. It's a journey. So in other words, I'm not looking at an end point and saying, when we get there, then we'll be okay. Yeah. It's like, I want every day to be a little bit better. I want that my past to disappear. Maybe not disappear, but I want to heal. Yeah, that's and not be triggered by my past a little bit more every day. Yeah. Every week. And before you know it, you look back and you say, you know what? You know, you hadn't, I was looking at my phone the other day, and you didn't say who you was talking to, who's that, you know? And that's growth. But the only way we get there is if we start the journey. And you got to, you know, like Tanya said, you know, you have to remind, you know, because here's the deal. A lot of times we get hurt and we get scarred very, very deeply. Yeah. And it doesn't just go away. You know, it's like, you know, I'm by no means a carpenter or nothing like that, but you know, I just imagine, you know, having like a big deep scratch in wood, you know, and putting filler in there and then sanding it down. And then you got to put a little bit more and sanding it down, you know, until you get it back to where it's like it never was there before. But it's a process. Right. Absolutely. I guess what I'm trying to say.
I think it takes the healing of the wound. You start the process, and a part of the process is getting past the fear of this individual doing the same thing to you, or if this was the individual who wounded you and you guys are repairing the relationship, getting past the fear of this person doing that same thing to you, you know, again. And so the fear of it sometimes makes the process of healing even longer, you know, because who wants to experience pain again? Right. You know, right. Who wants to? It's like, once I have accidentally stepped on a board with nails in it one time, I'm always looking out for that, going forward.
That's a good point.
So we have to remember we have to give people space and grace.
Yeah.
We have to give one another space and grace to grow and to change and to realize that, although you may have said, maybe you were the person doing the wounding, you may have said that I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll never do that again. And you may sincerely mean it in your heart and be doing everything that you can to make those changes. You still have to give your spouse that space and that grace to go through their own process of healing, because it's going to be quicker for you, since you were the offender, to actually get past that and move forward, because your heart, your will, but the person who was hurt by you, it's going to take them probably a little bit more time to get past that.
And it's kind of like, if I bump into you and you fall over and break your leg, I could say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I could be genuinely sorry.
Sure.
But the fact of the matter is that you're still gonna have to go through a healing process. You're gonna have to have a cast.
Right.
You're not gonna be able to get around as good. So it's the same thing with our emotions. So we have to keep that in mind. And even though you said you're sorry, even though you apologized, you did all of those things, there's still going to be a process. Unfortunately, there's going to be a process.
Yes.
Ideally, there's always the argument, I forgive you, but I never forget.
Yeah.
Then we talk about, how God, the Bible says, how God takes our sins and throws them to the sea of forgetfulness. Well, unfortunately, we have human tendencies. Thank you. And even though that's what we want to work towards, unfortunately, just because of life and experience, most people aren't there, and we need that time and just understand and just be patient with each other.
Yeah.
Be patient with each other.
Be patient.
Be the person that did the offending. You got to be patient, and and the person that was offended, you have to make sure that you are doing the work to move past it, because you don't want to be stuck 30 years still talking about what happened, back in
93,
whatever, especially, and here's the caveat, especially when the person that did the offending is doing the things that are necessary to rectify the situation.
Right. Because your fear will cause you to sabotage that.
Yeah.
And so then they get to the point to where they're frustrated and say, okay, well, forget it, whatever, I'm done,
Yeah.
So.
And I think, just kind of switching, you have anything else to say about that? Yeah. That's good, man.
It is good.
So another caveat to this is our attitude. When it comes to that, especially when we're dealing with stuff with our spouse that we're not responsible for. Like I said, like in the cheating incident, I didn't cheat, so why do I have to pay for what someone else did? But I was thinking about this the other day, and it's like, I'm not. That's Tanya doesn't have trust issues, but let's just say you did. I'm trying to. When it comes to my spouse, changing my attitude and my view, and saying, instead of looking at that situation and like, I gotta wait for her to get over this. It's like, now I have the honor and the privilege to be part of the healing process, and I get to help my spouse heal. And by doing that, doing those things, like I said earlier about, hey. And we're using the cheating thing just because, like I said, that was a situation me and my friend were talking about. But, whatever it is, but I'm just going to stick with that example, because that's what I was talking about. But, doing that, hey, I'm not that person, and I know you hurt. And it's and here's the other thing. Let them know it's okay that they're feeling that way.
Right. You want to keep that open door of conversation and allowing them to come to you to talk about it, so that they don't feel alone in their process.
Yeah.
Because anytime your spouse feels alone, that means that you aren't together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Emotionally. So you have to keep that door open so that they know that it's safe to enter in, you know, to that door and have those conversations with you, you know. And so when they do catch themselves accusing you or treating you like you were someone from their past, then they will quickly themselves begin to rectify the situation and come back and say, you know what, I'm sorry, you know, that reminded me of this. And when that happened, you know, this is the effect that it had on me. This is my response. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to project that onto you, and ask for forgiveness. And you just kind of start over, you know?
Yeah. And just, you know, like I said earlier, or just a few minutes ago, I want to kind of go in on that too. Sometimes, you know, especially, you know, I hate I said, you know, I'm working on it now. Anyway, letting them feel those feelings, you know, because we want to say, I know I don't deserve these actions, but see that they have a right to feel that way. And it's okay that they feel that way. You know, maybe we should do a show on the five points of power. But one of those, 5 points of power is speak your truth.
Speak your truth.
And I like the fact that they didn't say speak the truth.
Right.
Because the truth and your truth sometimes are different. But here's the deal. In this situation, especially when it comes to being offended, your truth is your truth.
Sure.
And I can't tell Tanya, you know, if I say something to Tanya, I can't tell her how to feel about I can't tell her how to feel about what I said. Because again, she's going to respond to what I said out of her experience, out of her past. You know, a good example of that is I'll just, you know, when Tanya and I first got married, you know, when we never argued or nothing, but when we would discuss, sometimes she would talk in what I call the high voice. And I was like, I don't like when you talk to me that way. Now, it was not her intention to offend me. She just got, you know, she was just getting excited. You know, I say, she's feisty. She's short. Short people are feisty.
All right, and let me get feisty with you right now.
But she couldn't say, well, you shouldn't feel that way because that wasn't my intention. Again, unfortunately, in relationships, a lot of times intentions don't matter, you know, because again, going back to the broken leg, shout out to Kev on stage and Miss Kev on stage, Kevin and Melissa Fredericks, but he says this all the time. If I hit you with my car and break your leg, it doesn't matter that I didn't intend to do that.
Right.
You know, now, I mean, I'm pretty sure, you know, because there's a difference between premeditated murder and manslaughter or whatever. So I know intentions matter, but when it comes to the results, I'm glad you didn't intend to break my leg, but the fact remains, my leg is broken.
Right, and I may be a little hot at you for a little while, even though you didn't intend to do it.
Right. So my point is, it's like we have to give them that space to say, I understand why you feel that way. I understand, you know, if you are suspicious of me, or you're suspicious of men in general, I understand why you feel that way. So this is good. So the why and the truth of the matter can be two different things. So I understand why you feel that way. I understand why you don't trust men. But here's the truth. That's your truth.
Right.
But here's the truth. I love you, and I've never cheated on you. I've never given you a reason to suspect me to cheat on you. I love you. I'm going to be with you. And it's okay. I'm not telling you that to stop that. I'm saying I'm here for you. And I'm even saying this. I'm saying that you feeling that way doesn't change the way I feel about you.
Yeah, that's good.
Now, if you said that to a person who had been, what's another word? Hurt. Okay, I don't want to keep saying cheated on, but saying hurt. What do you think that's going to do to their heart? Because a lot of times what happens is we reinforce their belief by the way we respond.
Exactly.
Ooh, I think I just said
you
something.
did just say something. That was good. But that's very true.
We
because
reinforce.
When you begin to be offended by that behavior, then you become defensive, and they're like, okay, so now what are you mad about? You must be hiding something.
You must be hiding something. So we almost like validate what they're saying. Yeah. So, and I know, again, guys, we've said this before. We're going to keep saying it because that's what it takes. This doesn't responding this way doesn't happen overnight. This takes practice. It takes work. It takes reminding each other. It takes holding each other accountable. It takes staying open to it, and one thing that's really helped me is having people in my life to help me process. Tanya one, but just having other mentors to hold me accountable to the things that I'm saying I'm trying to grow in.
Right.
But it doesn't happen overnight. But again, like I said earlier, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey and helping each other heal and helping each other grow and allowing the space and the grace. And will you mess it up? Absolutely. You're gonna mess it up. Yeah. Will you offend each other and hurt each other? Probably so. But the key to it is speaking up about, hey, when you said that way, when you did that, and I know that's so, it's so, what's the opposite of intuitive?
Counterintuitive?
Yeah. It's so counterintuitive. I hate to do generalizations, but I know for me as a man, I always say this, just even like growing up, my family, we never talked about stuff like that. It's like, I don't like to talk about it. I'd rather just be mad on the inside. I don't want to tell you made me mad, or I don't want to tell you hurt my feelings, or,
just whenever I get over it, you'll know, because I'll be talking to you again. Right now, I'm not talking to you.
So that's what this whole process, this whole journey is all about. So we want you to know that we're not just sitting here telling you, here's what you need to do. The only reason why we're saying this stuff is because this is what we're doing. This is what we're going through. This is the process. Is it processes? Is that the plural of process?
Oh, you got me there.
But these are the processes. That's probably not right either. Anyway, that we're going through. And, I still, I know I have good days. I have bad days. I experience growth. And it's like, I'm gonna kill this year. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. And then like the next day, it's just like, man, it sucks, But it's okay, but here's the key to that is not staying there and having somebody in your life that's going to help pull you, not let you stay there.
Right.
Right. And I learned this from this program that we go to. It's called Growth Challenge. Michelle LeBlanc, she's one of the facilitators. Awesome lady, awesome. But she says, if you're gonna get into one of those bad moves like that, she's like, set a time limit.
Right.
Give yourself, like, okay, I'm gonna give myself 20 minutes. I'm gonna set a timer, and I'm just gonna be in this funk. But after that, when that alarm goes off, I automatically got to get up out of this, and I'm gonna go and do something and make it happen.
Yep.
I'm gonna be, and I do this sometimes because, it's no secret. I share it all the time. I'm very passive aggressive. So I do this internally. I don't know if you notice it or not, but I'll say, okay, I'm just going to sit here and I'm not going to hold her hand for 10 minutes. Let me process this. Okay, now I'm going to get back to it. Hey girl, how you doing? And I because it's like, okay, because that moment is not.
Wait, is this why you grabbed my hand in the truck yesterday on the way here?
Possibly.
It was just like sudden, like.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I may been getting to a place to where I was frustrated or just probably thinking about things. And I'm like, you know what? Nope, I'm not going to allow myself to do that. I love this woman. Give me your hand. You going to hold my hand, God dog it. Kiss me, God dog it. All right. All right. So this is the end of the podcast. So, no. But it is the end. at about 30 minutes. So hopefully you got something out of that. Give each other space and grace. Space and
grace, guys.
Because a lot of times, look, it's not even about you. So what you getting offended at? Mm-hmm. It's just like, you know, I heard, I said we're going to eat, huh?
Go right ahead.
This is a great point to prove to say to close this. Anyway, I heard Jerry Savelle say this. He's like, one time he was in an airport. And he's walking through the airport and somebody hollered out, "Hey, stupid." He said, everybody in the airport turned around and looked. Mm-hmm. He said, I just kept on walking. Mm-hmm. He's just like, I know he wasn't talking to me because I'm not stupid. Mm-hmm. But so when it comes to those things in our relationships, when I know I'm not cheating, right. So why would I
get offended?
Why would I get offended at that? That has nothing to do with me.
Yep.
So now when you approach it that way, now what you do is you give yourself the ability to now be there. Here's an interesting concept. Be there for your spouse.
Yeah, awesome.
And get to participate in their healing.
Yeah. Don't run from it. Yeah, that's good.
So, that's it.
That's it. Well, we want to tell you guys how to stay connected with us. Y'all can follow us on Marriage Matters 0526 on Facebook, Instagram, the same, Marriage Matters 0526. 0526 and YouTube Marriage Matters. The Marriage Matters podcast, you can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor Podcasts. Yeah. We appreciate you guys joining us for this talk.
Yeah. And I'll say this too, when you do listen to us on Apple and Google, make sure, please, if you don't mind, give us a review, because that just helps us, helps our numbers go up and help us to reach more people. Yes. So with that being said, that's all we got for you today. So this is Glenn and Tanya Coleman reminding you that
your marriage matters.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.